is a trailblazer and a pioneer. She has been knocking down locker room doors ever since she graduated from Northwestern. She's brought us Olympic stories from 1984 through now. She has gone to every Olympics, told us those stories. She brought to us the saga of Tiger Woods. She brought to us the stories of figure skating from Tanya Harding to, yes, the Russian judges. And she has been a fixture on CNN. You watch her on CNN, you read her columns in USA Today, and in between her day jobs, she has written 8 books, 8 books. And her latest is this one, On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports. It is my honor to introduce to you author and journalist, Christine Brennan.
Thank you. Thank you. 55 weeks ago, so a year and 3 weeks ago, there was no book. Life is funny, the little things that happen. The U.S. Olympic swimming trials for the Paris Olympics were held in Indianapolis in the football stadium. I'm sure some of you heard about that. If they had not been held in Indianapolis, my sports editor wouldn't have said, hey, can you go over and write a couple columns because the Indiana Fever are in town for a few games and you're in Indianapolis. So I went to a practice, Caitlin comes over, says hi, we talk for 5 minutes, we're basically the same height. Firm handshake, looks you in the eye, thanks you for your coverage. We sit down, we chat about Northwestern Iowa games, which Iowa got the better of most of Northwestern in most of those games, but not all of them. And then that was it. So I've been around the Fever a little more than I would have ever been around. The Fever had, say, the Olympic swimming trials been in Omaha where they'd been the 4 times before that. So how about that? I'm in Indy for another reason. I meet Caitlin Clark. I come home to DC. I've got about 2 weeks before I'm going to the Paris Olympics. And I'm kind of thinking about this. Should a book be done? I don't want to write a book. I'm loving not writing books, you guys. A book just takes over your life. I had an old boyfriend once who told me, he said, and he became an old boyfriend because of this. I was writing my first figure skating book that was a national bestseller, Inside Edge, and he goes, it's like you're under self-imposed house arrest. It's a perfect way to describe writing a book. A book tour is like you're running for president. So my personality is much more book tour than book writing. But I'm thinking of this and I'm like, I love my life. Do I want to just now go into this kind of crazy schedule? And then one thing led to another. I ended up, my book editor, Lisa Drew, the great Lisa Drew, brought Jackie Kennedy into the book world years ago. She's retired, but she said, why don't you talk to someone at Scribner, a guy named Rick Horgan. I didn't know him, I blurbed a book for him once. And we decided we had to have a Zoom, a half-hour Zoom on July 10th last year, which then went 2 hours, talking about Caitlin Clark. He said, I'll be in touch. My suitcases are open. I am packing for a month to go do that really tough assignment. Somebody had to do it, go cover the Paris Olympics. I know, I get no sympathy from my family about how hard I'm working. And the next day, I'm thinking, oh, I'll hear from him when I'm in Paris, maybe, I don't know, maybe when I come back. I maybe never hear from him. Next day, July 11th, phone rings, not Zoom, but a phone call. And he goes, I've got an offer for you. No book proposal, no plan, no nothing. I said, yes, let's do it. That night, I tossed and turned the whole night because I go, what did I just say yes to? I'm going to wreck my whole life. So went to the Olympics, and I did meet up with Caitlin's agent there. By the way, right away, I called the agent for Caitlin Clark to let her know, this is an unauthorized book. It was always going to be unauthorized, my decision. It sounds ominous. It's not. It's what you want. Caitlin will write her book. It will be authorized by Caitlin with some writer or by herself. And it'll be fabulous, and then everyone will buy it in the whole wide world because everyone loves Caitlin Clark. You want it to be an unauthorized book because it's journalism. And I'm going to cover these stories moving on. I can't be in business with Caitlin Clark. If it's authorized, I'm in business with her, I can never cover her again. That would be my journalism ethics. That would be the ethics of CNN, ABC, USA Today. Obviously, no way, but even more important, it's my roles. And so I want to cover this story. So, and you want it to be journalism. You want it to be no holds barred. You want the behind the scenes. You want the breaking news, the Olympic snub, dreadful decision, terrible last year, looks worse every day. I broke that story. I tell you more. You get behind the scenes stories of what happened and how awful the decision was as the ratings tanked because Caitlin Clark was not there to bring women's basketball around the world. All the other things that I can give you in that book. So anyway, yeah, off to Paris, came back. Everyone does the old Paris to Indianapolis trip, right? I did stop in DC for 2 days and then went to Indy, and I was then, from August 16th onward, followed the fever. Wherever the fever were, I was, Indy or on the road. And I had, there was absolutely no restrictions on me at all. I asked Caitlin about 40 to 50 questions, usually in small press settings. She was on the record, I was on the record, and she is terrific and just what you'd hope she would be in terms of so honest, so forthcoming. There was a moment, I'm sure you guys remember, where she had the technical foul of several, but the one on August 18th where she hit the stanchion, got mad, and she just slapped it. So I asked her about it after the game. I said, what was going through your brain? And I'm starting to ask the question. She interrupts me. She goes, oh, too much, too much. And you'll see in the book the back and forth between us as she is then answering that about her personality, her anger on the court, how she knows she needs to calm down sometimes, but she's also so competitive. She cares so much. So that was it, and then came home. So that was, end of September. October, I'm kind of getting my notes together, doing a lot of interviews, but I was winging it. There was I had kind of an outline, but then I would change the outline, and then I wouldn't even have the outline because I was just going, I'm going to interview this person, we'll put it here, I move things around, and then I had basically 4 months to write the book. Don't do that ever. It was a year as a quick book, and I did it in 4 months. But it also, I think it reads better, and I don't waste your time in the sense of I dive into things, but I don't dive in too deeply. And over the last 3 weeks, Betsy, people have said, it's a quick read. And of course, they read it in one night, and I was like, I don't want to hear that.